Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to our session for our National Awareness Campaign for People of Determination. I'm Catherine from Incluzun.com.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Harmeet from Incluzun.com, making a big impact.
We hope. So you're all welcome. Now, our shared purpose, why are we here? Okay, we have a question for you, and I think everyone here will probably know the answers to this. What percentage of the population do you think have individual needs globally? You guys can shout out. What do you think?
20%.
Pardon?
20%.
Okay.
Anybody else? No right or wrong answers and no prizes, I'm sorry. Well, you get a sunflower lanyard from us.
About 30%.
40%.
40%, okay.
It's in and around 15% for identified individual needs. Now, our next question, what percentage of those people find meaningful employment? Can you take a guess?
And that one's more difficult. I'm going to say that would be 17%.
Okay. Anybody else?
Maybe 10% of them.
You're bang on the money. This is in and around 10% or less. So of our people who have barriers to learning, to accessibility, fewer than 10% of those find meaningful employment, which is a huge burden, not only on themselves, their families and society, but it's just a really difficult challenge for those people.
So this is where Incluzun.com is trying to help. So the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 8 is where we eventually hope we can support with this. Moving forward, how does the sunflower lanyard, what does the sunflower lanyard have to do with this?
So working under the UN SDG Goal 8.5, we hope that by 2030, we can achieve full and productive employment and decent work for all men and women, including for persons of disability, and equal pay with equal value. And we think that this sunflower lanyard can really contribute to making that happen. So in the UAE, there is a national policy for empowering people of determination. There's quite robust legislation around how we can improve outcomes for people with different needs.
So we're looking at the policy pillars. What are they? Healthcare and rehabilitation, education, vocational training and employability, accessibility, and public, cultural, and sports life.
So for us in particular, we're looking at Pillar 4 for accessibility, and with a particular focus
on introducing changes to public places, services, and buildings to facilitate the access of people of determination to them. Now, the Expo stands as a shining example of how this was made possible. Catherine and I have visited the Expo a few times wearing the sunflower lanyard. On our first visit, I didn't really notice, which was at the start of the Expo, I noticed a small number of people coming up to me and talking about the sunflower, asking me if I needed extra help because I was wearing the sunflower lanyard. But on subsequent visits, almost 80 to 90% of the people who were working here, the volunteers and the employees, every single one of them recognized the sunflower lanyard and pointed me in the correct direction, which was for the lane for the people of determination. So this is excellent proof that this made a big impact. A small thing like the sunflower lanyard allowed, if I had a hidden disability, it allowed me the space to move forward and to make and to be a part of society, knowing that I would have some space to be myself.
So who we are, and I think we may have lost, is Daniela.
I'm still here. Hi. Sensory Access, we're a global nonprofit. Our goal is to focus on creating accessibility and inclusion exactly for individuals who have sensory processing difficulties, visual and hearing impairments, all of those hidden disabilities that aren't necessarily always easily identified for having a disability and therefore don't always have the same access and inclusion as others. So that is our focus. And at Expo, we helped with the sensory accessibility across the site.
And who is Direct Access? Well, unfortunately, our partner, Mr. Stephen Misford, cannot be with us, but he is the CEO of Direct Access, and he is the Director of Accessibility here at Expo. And both he and Daniela have been responsible for making this what is being widely recognized as the most accessible large-scale event in the world, which is the kind of impact that one can only dream of. And as Harmeet said, we feel that on the ground, we're seeing it, and that's all facilitated by the Sunflower Lanyard as well, as an addition to all of the work that they have done. So Stephen has a company where he speaks with event organizers and organizations about how they can make their own events or organizations more accessible for people with both hidden and visible disabilities.
Yeah, and we would like to also talk about how much of impact Stephen has made with bringing the Sunflower Lanyard across. The other thing is that if you get a chance to come and visit the expo, please do come and check out the options for all the people of determinations. We actually went and checked out the sensory room. We went and checked out the toilets because they were just astounding. It gave everyone, I think what really made a big impact with Catherine and me is that no matter what my disability was, I knew I could come to the expo and have all my needs seen to and taken care of. And the Sunflower Lanyard actually allowed everyone to see that I had a need and then channel me into the right direction.
Now, who is Incluzun? That's us. We are a sustainable organization working under the umbrella of Goal 8. Our third partner and founder is a gentleman called Raza Jafar, who is one of the founding members of the Global Sustainability Network. And we work in two pillars: supporting people of determination and working toward gaining meaningful employment for young adults.
So we look to support and we hope to bridge the gap of employability as well. Eventually, we want to bring up training centers in countries that are underprivileged, youths who have been rescued and educated but have no access to employability. And we hope that we can train them enough to bridge the gap and allow them access to decent employment.
So, sensory disabilities, and here we will hand over to our resident expert, Dr. Daniela Ferdico.
Well, thank you very much. So this is just a brief little introduction to talk about what sensory disabilities are. Most individuals know about visual impairments and hearing impairments, but not all individuals know what sensory processing differences are. You'll see sensory processing differences in a variety of individuals. Some individuals do just have sensory processing disorder. You'll see it a lot in individuals that are autistic, also in individuals that have Down syndrome, ADHD, and a wide arrangement of different neurodevelopmental disorders. What's important to know is just what some of those aspects are, for example, at events or in venues in a building that might cause some difficulties. So there's just some examples down here below. So for example, visuals, it can be any kind of flashing light or strobe light. If you're at a concert or some sort of event, any kind of lights on the stage that might shine into your face, any kind of really bright lights, even in the UAE, that really bright sunlight. So let's say you've been indoors somewhere where it's a little bit darker and you go out into that bright sunlight, that contrast between where you've been and the kind of light that you're brain has been taking into that quick contrast of that really bright sunlight can be really disorienting. In terms of auditory sensory processing, any kind of unexpected loud noises can be really difficult to process. Shrill noises like a whistle or a cymbal crash or flutes or anything like that, an ambulance. And then of course, sounds like explosions and booms. I myself have a lot of auditory sensory difficulties. I can't make out any kind of speech when there is cross noise going on. So for example, if there's multiple people talking at once, or if there's sound coming from over here and over here, they tend to cancel each other out. And suddenly I can't hear anything but just gray noise. So, you know, it really depends on who you're speaking to, what that particular auditory difficulty may be. But this seems to be one of the most prevalent sensory processing difficulties out there. And then lastly, another one that I really want to highlight is tactile. This again is really prevalent at events, in schools, sometimes even in the workplace. If you're walking down the hall and it's really busy and there's crowding, anytime when someone touches you unexpectedly, or when you're, for example, at a concert when there's kind of shoving, right? So those are all really often found at events and even at schools. All right, and then talking a little bit about visual and auditory impairments, just thinking about what kinds of things we may need to think about at events. So for example, for visual impairments, you may want to think about that individuals with visual impairments may need closer seating because they have some vision and need to sit as close as possible to be able to see something. They may need a walkway free of obstacles in the workplace. They may need a physical guide to get to their seat if they're in a new place or if they're having to navigate something that they're not used to. They might really benefit from audio description or braille or large print programs. There's so many different things that we can offer, again, in the workplace at an event that is fairly easily implemented. With individuals with hearing impairments, again, you might want to think about where they're seating. Do we want to have them seated closer to an ASL interpreter or a BSL or whatever the sign language may be in that case? Do we want them sitting closer to the other part of the stage where the performer is so they can lip read? Do they have access to open or closed captions? Is there a hearing loop or any kind of amplified sound system? So those kinds of things to think about at events can be really important. Do you guys want to introduce this next video, Catherine?
Yeah, so all of these accommodations that Daniela is speaking about are really well facilitated when somebody wears the sunflower lanyard and when the people around them know what it means. We're really lucky. Paul from the Sunflower Lanyard is joining us as well today. And it's just making such a big impact on organizations, but on the people within them and how they're gaining access. So we're going to play a little video directly from the website of the Sunflower Lanyard. It's called the Hidden Disabilities Lanyard.
Some disabilities are hidden and not immediately obvious, so you may not recognise that someone has a hidden disability, nor understand the challenges they can face in their daily life. The Hidden Disability Sunflower helps by discreetly indicating that the wearer has a hidden disability and may need additional support, help, understanding, or just a little more time. So if you spot someone who has chosen to wear the sunflower, please be patient. Ask for help, and don't forget to always be kind and show respect. The Hidden Disabilities Sunflower Scheme, making the invisible visible.
So that was from the Sunflower Lanyard website. We have Paul with us. Paul, would you like to come on and say hello as well?
Good morning, everybody. How are we all?
Good.
So the sunflower is a discrete tool that people can wear to demonstrate that they have a non-visible disability. People choose to wear the sunflower to show that they have a disability, and for businesses, organisations and the general public to recognise that the wearer has a disability, isn't visible, and is able to give that person a little bit more time, care, patience, or just some simple understanding. So it's just a simple, discrete tool that enables a person to show that their disability is not visible.
I think what's amazing about that,
Go on.
what Paul's created and, what the Sunflower Lanyard does is, all of those accommodations we were talking about a minute ago, they don't mean anything if they don't get to the right people, right? And so what's so fantastic about this lanyard is that when someone comes into an event or into the school or into the workplace wearing one of these, they don't have to go through the process of explaining, I have a disability, I need this, etc. Right? It's all of a sudden apparent to those people who need to know that this person may need some support. And so then by simply asking them, oh, I see you're wearing the sunflower lanyard, how can I support you? Right? The work becomes, more on the people who can offer the support instead of being yet one more burden that that person with a disability has to carry. And therefore, it's just a great way to get access to all of those accommodations we haven't put in place. And it's just a fantastic tool for doing that.
So what I would like to further stress on this is that the person wearing the sunflower lanyard is aware they have a hidden disability. The whole beauty of this sunflower lanyard is that it's to educate the people around the person who has the disability. And this is the impact that the sunflower lanyard will make. It will allow the person, all the people around this person to understand that there is a need, and eventually inclusion becomes a very regular part of life. And we may eventually end up not even having to teach our children about inclusion, but making it just a normal daily part of our lives.
Okay, some staff and volunteers often have concerns around incorporating the lanyard into their organization. Daniela, do you want to talk through this?
Oh, sure. So some of the things that we've heard when we first talk about the lanyard, or really some of these accommodations, is that staff and volunteers will say, well, I won't know what to do, or I'm not going to know what's wrong, or I'm not a professional, I can't help. And the whole beauty of this lanyard is really just to identify that someone might need some more support, that they might need some time. And all that person that is in that helpful position, whether they're a staff or a volunteer or representing a business, all that's really asked of them is to kind of support that individual, give them more time, ask them what their access requirements are, right? Really just being aware and being present and offering support when it's needed. You don't have to be a professional. You don't have to ask what's wrong. You certainly don't have to ask what the disability is. You can just say, what are your support needs?
Yeah, and there is no onus of responsibility in terms of having to understand specific needs or understand the kind of intricacies of the disability. It's simply being mindful, being aware, and to provide assistance if it's required. Okay, so that is our introduction to the sunflower lanyard. And today is our very first session. We've handpicked a few people to invite so that we can have almost a trial session and see how it goes. So we really, really want your feedback. For those people who are here, can we ask you, what are your thoughts? Do you think this was a useful session? What would you add, or do you have any questions for things you might like more to know about?
Most importantly, did it get the message across? Does it explain to you what the sunflower lanyard is all about? And did you understand the impact it can make on the life of our people of determination?
Any thoughts, guys?
Or are we going to have an awkward silence?
I think it did. This is Raquel. I'll just jump in here. I think it's really incredible that this awareness is taking place on the foundation of just the way Dubai and the UAE have been embracing disabilities, or people with individuals with disabilities, people of determination, whether hidden or seen. And the good thing is that there is now this heightened awareness. So this campaign is just an enabler. That's what I see it as, an enabler that's going to make more people aware that people with seen or hidden needs need to be included. And it kind of redefines what inclusion can look like. So if I'm, in a sense, saying, look, I have a hidden need by wearing this, then the people who I'm interacting with can include me without me saying, oh, can you do this or can you do that? So it's just a synergy that's taking place between this awareness campaign.
Oh, we've lost your volume.
Raquel, we lost you.
We've lost the volume. But I guess you were saying it's a synergy about an awareness campaign and an initiative that has already been proven very successful internationally, and that's through Paul and his company, and it's been amazing. We just hope we can share in that success in the UAE.
Right.
Samira, you have comments. Tell us.
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's good morning, and it's a pleasure being here for the Zoom session. My feedback would be it's a great initiative because there are people with hidden disabilities. And the thing which I would like to emphasize on, is it accepted throughout the United Arab Emirates, like the Sanad card, when you show it to people, or the MOCD, the disability card from Ministry of Health. You know, when you show it to them, people do realize you are people of determination. So is Sunflower Lanyard does the same thing everywhere, not just the events?
That's the purpose of this campaign. We're hoping that it will. At the moment, it's already ready to roll out in a number of larger organizations. I think, Paul, maybe you can talk to that. You're already working with a number of places here.
Yeah, it's early days within the UAE, of course. So we're really just starting to gain traction. But the work that the guys have done across Expo really has put the sunflower in the mind's eye for the UAE. And the goal for us there, of course, is then to get more support across businesses, organisations, healthcare, education, wherever people visit. The sunflower has a benefit, and there's clearly a need for it. So we're starting at a low base, if you like, where we are, but with the guys' support, I think there's going to be the growth is going to be fairly rapid. So my suggestion would just be keep an eye on our website. We've got a website now in the UAE. As organisations join, we will be putting dots on the map to demonstrate those organisations where they are. And that helps in two ways. That helps sunflower wearers to know where to go. That also demonstrates that business organisation is a forward-thinking business. It's an accessible business, and it's inclusive. So keep an eye on the map on our site, and then you can track our growth.
Amazing. So this will give everyone an opportunity now. I think Catherine and I have focused quite a lot on educational institutes at the moment, because we do see the need for this in schools. But as we continue to expand, and with all our partners who are coming on, we are also looking at organizations outside, and hopefully we want to make a bigger impact. So this is just the start of the journey. And as all of you know, inclusion is always a journey.
Any other feedback, everyone?
I think both Usha and Dr. Manuel had their hands up.
Okay. Dr. Manuel?
Hello, good morning, everyone. It is an excellent session. I would say inclusion is a very big step for special individual like us, I would say, towards inclusivity in the today's world. I think it will give us new courage. And this program, which is going on Zoom, I would like to echo the voice of Miss Rachel and Sumera Kiran and Dr. Daniela, that this would lead to a greater impact in our society, and this will lead to change of our perception towards people with hidden disabilities or visible disabilities, and it would lead for them to lead a more productive life. And I am 100% sure that this Lanyard will do much more greater impact, as compared to when a people of a disability will go, he has to go and present himself to a counter or someone. They always have a hesitancy to what will people think of me when I go and present them. I have to explain everything to them. But when they see the yellow lanyard card, the sunflower card, they understand from far or without even saying a single word, he needs help, she needs help. We have to make sure they're comfortable. So this is a very big step.
Yeah, thank you. That's the voice of a person of determination. It's so heartfelt. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. Well, I think that's about it for our first session. Thank you all so much for your help. Thank you, Raquel, for helping us design the survey. And thank you, Paul, for joining and supporting and for setting up the website in the UAE, because I think that will be really valuable, getting
Yes.
organizations to add their dot on the map so everyone can see. And of course, Daniela and ourselves have been devising this from the start. We're in it together.
Yep.
And
Thank you to Stephen for
Stephen.
introducing it to us.
Yeah.
It just blew our mind when we saw it. And of course, Paul, this was your baby. So well done, you.
Yeah, yeah. Now we will have further sessions, and we will have a face-to-face session here at Expo in March, where Paul is going to join in person in the flesh. And we will have, inshallah, we will have Stephen and ourselves, and we will host a face-to-face session, again, all about the Hidden Disabilities Lanyard. Thank you all so much. Please do keep following us on LinkedIn for updates, and we will keep you updated in the email stream also.
Right. Or you can always email us at info@incluzun.com, Incluzun with a Z. Go onto our website. We have our numbers there. If you need any help, we are always there ready to help.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Have a lovely
Excellent
day.
job, guys. Take
Bye.
care. Bye, everyone.
Take care. Thank you
everyone.
for joining. Bye.
Bye.
Still recording. Did you stop the recording?
No.